New York Governor Kathy Hochul was in Niagara County today at a rally against the Trump administration's efforts to cut waste, fraud, and abuse in federal spending. She focused primarily on the billions New York would lose for its publicly funded health care programs. 2 Side's Dave McKinley has that part of the story for us tonight. David?
Scott, New York might have to choose to cut billions from what it now spends on subsidized health care, primarily because it spends more than most states, traditionally offering benefits beyond what are those required by the federal government through Medicaid and its choice to cover groups of individuals other states do not. Before an audience made up mostly of organized labor, whose unions urged them to come to the rally, with staff from the community college filling many of the rest of the seats, Hochul focused on the amount of funding New York would lose for its two major publicly funded health care programs. One is Medicaid, spending for which has surged 33% in the last 4 years, and for which New York's per-resident outlay is 77% above the national average and 24% higher than any other state, according to the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services. Could you tell me why is that?
An older population of people who are high needs.
The other big expense is the Essential Plan, health insurance, which covers an additional 1.7 million low-income New Yorkers who make too much to qualify for Medicaid. New York is one of only 3 states that offer it, and spending on it has gone up 138% in the last 4 years. Hadn't we ought to be using this time to maybe get our own house in order?
I agree. There's always areas where we can look for cutting, whether there's been abuse. In fact, we had a program called the CDPAP program, which I think everyone's got a lot of coverage to, which was a program where we were started out with $1.5 billion, and it escalated to $9 billion recently. And I asked why. This was over last decade. Well, it turns out there were individual companies that were abusing and skimming the system. People were giving them self-payments of $2 million. So that's an example of the kind of waste, fraud, and abuse that I am also going after.
Congressman Nick Langworthy issued a statement, meanwhile, saying that Hochul was being dishonest when it came to figures she used to illustrate how these cuts would allegedly hurt New York. According to an analysis by the Empire Center for Public Policy, even if the state loses the billions of dollars it expects to, it would still have $117 billion left to spend on those programs. On your side in the newsroom, Dave McKinley, Channel 2 News.
Dave, thank you. Well, local